what are the best practices to combat or if possible reverse insulin resistance? I'm going to ask that one more time because it's a really good question. What are the best practices to combat or if possible reverse insulin resistance? Weight is unstable and in the normal range as it has been for years.
Yeah. Well, of course, the best thing to do, and that's a great question because insulin is the key to a lot of things. It's not cholesterol, it's insulin. That's the most important measure. So, and what happens with insulin resistance is that, which is a precursor to diabetes, and some of it can be genetically predisposed, but a lot of times just by the way you eat. If you eat too many carbs, your insulin level has to keep going up to bring the sugar levels down in your blood, put the blood sugar in your cells for energy. So if you keep eating too many carbs, um, or have a family history of insulin resistance, pre-diabetes, diabetes, then what happens is your insulin level keeps going up to keep the blood sugar stable. So it looks like your sugars are stable because your A1C is staying the same. But actually, if you measure the insulin levels, both fasting and 1 to 2 hours postprandial, meaning after you eat, if it jumps way up, you're insulin resistant. So your insulin isn't working as good as it used to. It's getting too much work, and you're having to recruit more insulin to keep the blood sugar the same. And finally, boom, it won't work at all. You have diabetes. But I like as far as supplements, so low carbs, what's the glycemic index, and also berberine is a good natural way to help insulin resistance. And then, of course, medications like metformin, and then the GLT agonists like Ozempic that we use so much for weight loss. So, and weight is not the best way to measure what kind of shape you're in or how your insulin resistance. A good way to measure insulin resistance is just by looking at you. If you have belly fat, you've got insulin resistance. So it's not BMI or even weight really. It's more waist size. So if you're a man, you should have a 1-to-1 waist to hip ratio. If you're a woman, 0.8. Their hips are wider than men. So if your waist is expanding, you need to think, hey, I think I'm insulin resistant, and start doing those things. And lifting weights, remember, muscle burns fat for 36 hours after you lift. After you do aerobic exercise, an hour later, unless you really kill it and do a lot of hit training, then you're back at baseline. So you need some kind of muscle building resistance exercises. And last time I saw, Motaz, he was jacked. He was pretty muscular. I hope he's still jacked.
Out of curiosity, how do you know if you've successfully reversed insulin resistance? Is like belly fat just gone, or
Belly
is
fat's
there?
gone. You can check your levels,
Okay.
and you'll stop craving carbs,
Hmm.
you know. And that's why I like intermittent fasting. But a great question.
Uh,
Wonderful.
thank